Hey guys, what's going on? Time for another commentary. Today we're talking about boots versus boost. Two different types of Call of Duty styles that have been coming out over the past few years. Now, obviously, it's pretty clear if you're an active member of the community on social media and things like that. The majority of the community say they prefer boots on the ground. The thing I find weird about that is that the majority of the community only a few years ago were complaining that boots on the ground was getting boring. They didn't specifically say that, but they begged for change. They asked for change, and they consistently complained that Call of Duty was a reskinned game every single year, and they felt like they were being ripped off. So I don't know who made the decision. Probably somebody in Activision made the decision to, go the more futuristic route, and we got Advanced Warfare, which featured the exosuits and the advanced movements. At very first, I think, from my perspective, it was received well, and then very soon thereafter, it started kind of flopping. People started hating on it. They don't like these advanced movements. They want to go back to how it was before. And, they basically begged Treyarch, please don't let Black Ops 3 have advanced movements. Um, these people tend to think that Black Ops 3 was just put into development at that moment or something like that, but it had already been in development for a good 2 years. And Treyarch already had made up their minds. Like I said, probably because of a word from Activision who said, you got to change it up a bit. We can't just keep reskinning the game every year. So then we get Black Ops 3. Despite everybody's, hatred for advanced movements, we get advanced movements in Black Ops 3. And once again, people aren't very happy with it. They want boots on the ground. They want it to go back to how it was before. And this is something that confuses me a little bit because the original Black Ops was probably about the time people started saying Call of Duty's dead. And I'm an active member of the community. I don't really go on the forums anymore, but I used to be extremely active on the forums and on Twitter, on Facebook, all that kind of stuff, and YouTube, obviously. But people basically have been saying Call of Duty's dead since Black Ops 1. Now, out of the last 8 Call of Duties, only 2 of those games featured boost jumping. But the general consensus is that boost movements or, those exo mechanics ruin the series. That's kind of what people have been saying lately. And I don't think that's true at all because people have been saying it's dead since way before the advanced movements and the boosting even came into play. One thing I find kind of weird is that a lot of people are hating on Infinite Warfare, the next Call of Duty by Infinity Ward, basically because all of the signs, all of the evidence, all of the clues and leaks that we've had so far point to it being a future set game. Some games set in the future, distant future, and perhaps in outer space. And because of that, people are just assuming and jumping to conclusions that it's going to feature some form of advanced movements, jetpacks, exosuits, something like that. And I don't really see it like that. I mean, what if it's in the future, but it's still boots on the ground? Will that be so bad? Pretty much it's a lose-lose situation for the developers either way because I know this community inside and out. I know how this community operates, and whether the game has advanced movements, boosting or not, people will complain about it. They're going to find something to complain about, and it just so happens that boosting was an easy thing to target for these people that like to complain. It's an easy thing because it's different than the other games. It's something that stands out. So when a game comes out and it's got this new mechanic, it's easy to say, oh, this game sucks because of this new mechanic. When that's not really the case. The real case is that people have been playing Call of Duty so much for so long that they're just getting bored of it, but they don't know how to let it go. They don't know how to move on to something else. Not only that, but Call of Duty is still the most popular game being played every year. 7 years in a row, consistently the top selling game in America each year. I mean, a lot of people are still playing Call of Duty. It's far from dead. If you say Call of Duty's dead, or if you think Call of Duty's dead, you are sorely mistaken. But as far as Infinite Warfare goes, it doesn't have to have boost movements just because it takes place in the future. It could very well be a boots on the ground type of game. Or, like I've seen some other people mention, and I've mentioned this before too, there could be some time travel sort of things where certain parts of the game are boots on the ground and certain parts are just crazy far out jetpacks and who knows what else. But personally, what I really want to say is I really don't care if it's boots on the ground or boosting. That's never really been the factor for me. As long as it still plays like Call of Duty and feels like Call of Duty, then I don't care. I felt like Advanced Warfare still played like a Call of Duty game. I think Advanced Warfare suffered the most in weapon balance and in map design, But the movement mechanics, I thought were fine. I had no problems dashing around, double jumping. That to me was okay. Black Ops 3, love the maps in Black Ops 3. The weapon balance is way better. I think Black Ops 3 is probably one of the best Call of Duties that has ever come out. I don't know if I'd call it my favorite one, but I mean, Black Ops 2 is probably my favorite, and Black Ops 3 is a close second. And I'm probably in the minority saying that, but I'm just honest. Like, I'm not going to hate on Call of Duty because it's the cool thing to do, and I'm not going to hate on boost dashing or jetpacks just because I have this nostalgic feeling that I had more fun on the older Call of Duties. I mean, I know these people that are complaining, and these are the same people that bitched and complained when Call of Duty was all boots on the ground. They complained about it then, they'll complain about it now, they'll complain about it in the future. It's not, nothing's gonna stop these people from complaining about Call of Duty. It has nothing to do with boosting, it has nothing to do with boots. It has to do with these people and their mentality and the fact that they can't take themselves away from something that they're attached to. They're just so attached to it, they can't get away from it regardless of how much they dislike it. I mean, they'll still go out and buy the next game expecting it to be something else when it's the same every single year. Whether it's got boosting or not, it's still the same exact formula every year. It's not going to change, guys. It's not going to change because that's the formula that sells. That's the formula that people keep playing and people keep buying into. They're not going to change it. So as far as Infinite Warfare or Infinity Warfare, whatever it's called, whether it's got boots on the ground or advanced movement mechanics, I don't care either way. I'm still gonna play it. I'm still gonna enjoy it because it's Call of Duty. I like Call of Duty. Call me a Call of Duty fanboy if you want to. I don't care. It's about I play what I like to play, and I like to play Call of Duty. So as long as I keep making Call of Duty games, I'm gonna keep playing them. It's pretty simple. You know, sports games are the same way. There's guys that buy every single Madden every year, every single NHL game every year, every single NBA 2K every year. They don't complain that it's too similar than the previous year. They like it because of what it is. They like it because it's the same every year. And that's basically my stance on it. I like Call of Duty because of the similarities to previous games. And the way you move around, to me, really doesn't matter. Jumping high, I mean, dolphin diving, I couldn't give two shits. To me, that's just not something worth complaining about. If you want to complain about something, complain that the game's glitching, that the game's kicking you out of matches, or the guns are imbalanced, if there's a completely overpowered weapon or a completely underpowered weapon, or if the maps are really poorly designed. Complain about things like that. But don't complain about the movement mechanics because we see these games in action well before they come out. You have plenty of time. There's most likely going to be a beta for this again, since the beta for Black Ops 3 was very successful. So I imagine we'll all get a chance to play the game before it comes out. There's really no excuse to buy it and then consistently complain about things like the movement mechanics. If you don't like the futuristic movements and it has futuristic movements, don't buy the game. Simple as that. Very simple. But if you're like me and you know you're not the type of whiner to complain about something so trivial, then buy it and enjoy it just as you've enjoyed every other Call of Duty up until now. But that's pretty much going to be it for this commentary, guys. Leave a comment below. I'd like to hear your thoughts, opinions, suggestions, whatever else. I'm Vile Self. Thanks for all for watching, villains. Later.